here. Nate's right there. If you don't follow him already, the Fast Plumber on Instagram, and you can catch him racing in Roxborough this weekend.
Roxborough today.
What's the event called?
252 shootout.
252 shootout. Go watch him win.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah, he's got a lot of stuff going on, and you need to watch him go fast. Oh, it's already playing in the background. Look at that. All right. Yeah, we're starting to go live right now. Hey, look at that. The camera lens isn't cracked this week. You can actually see stuff. And if you want to, you can always clamp it in this thing if you don't want to hold it.
That's fine.
It's up to you.
All right.
Whatever, but it's just kind of. Let me shut the fan off.
Here, I'll sit with you for a minute. I need to short people problems. Increase my height.
Oh, excuse me. All right. So, good morning. Thanks for coming in and watching us, or if you're watching it later, thanks for checking it out. This is the second episode we're doing of this, and we're going to try to focus on doing a subject, whether it's discussing a repair procedure or a technique, and then we're also going to do a tool. So this week, Nick.
Call me a tool?
You are. So this week for the tools, Nick is going to be discussing different types of rivet guns, handheld and pneumatic, and then we're going to be talking about nut certs or riv nuts, whatever you like to call them, which are a very similar item. We're going to start off with that, and then we're going to move over to discussing drum brakes and some tools that you use and how you take them apart and different things to look for when you have a drum brake failure. So Nick, take it away.
Sure, let's do this. All right, so to start off here, so I've got a few different tools laid out. So first, this is your regular hand rivet for doing your regular pop rivets, such as this. So we'll go over using that. Now, for instance, these do come with different size tips. You have everything from a 3/32, 5/32, and 3/16 is your most typical for your hand size. Really, I don't think they really do any bigger than 3/16 by hand. However, if you do have, like on this Cobra here, 10,000 rivets, or if you have bigger ones, they have a pneumatic powered tool, which this thing is a lifesaver. And surprisingly, it's super quiet. And then same thing, it's got different. So this one actually goes all the way up to 1/4 inch. And I know for the bigger trucks, Dan, you guys used to do what, like 1/2 inch or something crazy like that.
Yeah, they have.
And those are.
They had ones that they would put through semi-truck frames called huck bolts, and you had a big crazy tool, and they're not carriage bolts.
They also do make a battery-operated one. Some reason I don't have one. I understand why, because Milwaukee does make one, and as you know, we are Milwaukee fanboys. So any Milwaukee reps out there, we are more than happy to try it out for you.
Yeah, absolutely. We're currently asking for your help again.
Yes. And then this guy here, so this little red guy. So we have a lot of people ask about this, and I've been using this for quite a few years now. But this is what you call a riv nut or nut cert. So we have these little threaded inserts, and these are really good for attaching certain things. So for instance, the brake reservoirs here, if you can see, there's a plate, and I use the nut certs to attach that. So it puts threads on there. So instead of having to like weld a nut or through bolt it, put a nut, this stays stationary. So we'll go over the proper way to install these and applications you can use that. So first off, hand rivet. These are the most comfortable ones I have seen yet. There's a regular style like this. These are not as comfortable on the hand, and these are a little bit harder to use personally. These have more of a curved grip. So I've got a little piece here. I've already pre-drilled some holes. I have some 1/8 inch rivets. I think these are bound 1/8 inch grip. So you'll have different lengths depending on how thick your material is. So I like to start off simply inserting it all the way. Handles open, slides in like that. You can pop it in the hole and then literally squeeze with one hand and it pops out. So, as I drop everything.
Show the back side of that.
Yep.
That's what the back side looks like after the rivet has been set.
Alright, next, I'm going to show you guys how quiet this air one is.
surprisingly, it's already not very quiet.
Yeah, well, it's Dan's huge air fittings.
I like them big.
So we're going to show you how to permanently attach a piece of sheet metal using a rivet. So that's what this application would be used for. So you would have your rivet in there, sandwich a piece together. So with the air tool, it's really simple. It's literally slide it in there. That easy.
Heck yeah.
Pretty quiet, and you can see it grips. And then this is permanently attached. It's not going to come off. Now this little can on the back here, this is what catches.
Caught them so good they won't
Well,
come
of
out.
course it's in there, but yeah, it catches the pin for the rivet. So these shoot out the back, so this thing can catch 100 of them. But no, this is a really cool tool. I highly recommend if you're doing a ton of rivets on a project, such as the Factory 5 Cobra here, to invest in one of these. You can get these relatively pretty cheap on Amazon for like 60, 70 bucks.
And you don't need like a 60 or 80 gallon compressor to operate
No,
this, right?
no, a little 3-gallon pancake compressor will do it.
Okay, and a lot of people already have those doing home improvement projects. You have
Yep.
those little small pancake compressors.
Yep. So next here, so this is a quarter 20 nutsert. They have different sizes. What did I do with that?
I don't know. Hold on.
I just had that tray out. Oh, my.
Did you actually put tools away?
No,
I don't know where it is.
I don't either. I just had it. Technical difficulty. But anyway, on Amazon, you get, it's a variety pack. Oh, I set it up there for some reason. There you go. So you can see it comes with all different sizes. You can get a standard, a metric. And there are different adapters that come when you buy this tool. Yeah.
You gotta use a little wrench on that one.
Oh, do you?
I think so.
No, I shouldn't have to. Yeah, you just slide it out. So these little adapters, each one will have different threads on it. So you can do different nutserts for whatever type of bolt you are wanting to use. And it simply just screws in. And this is the little head cap. Super easy, super convenient. Highly recommend getting this.
And it doesn't take it takes as much force as a regular rivet gun.
Yeah, it doesn't
To
really take
operate
much
it.
at
You
all.
don't have to get in there with both hands to squeeze it. We do have a much larger one that's like a foot long.
Yeah.
And that one, for doing thicker steel or doing larger riv nuts, you can use
Right.
that one as well.
Those are more like 1/2 inch.
Yeah.
So yeah, take your nutsert, screw it down all the way. I mean, you got just right to where it touches. Like, don't really put any force on it. You're gonna come into your hole there and just like, well, I lied. This one's not adjusted right. I'm sorry.
Oh, because you had to take it apart.
Yeah, I messed it all up. Oh my God, how tight do you have this?
I don't know.
Technical difficulties. But anywho,
This is the part where if we had sponsors, be like, and now a word from our sponsor.
yes.
Don't forget to spay and neuter your
So-
pets.
As you can see, this little knurled knob on the end, you twist it and it spins out. Normally that would be sandwiched in if it was adjusted correctly.
Why is it?
Yeah, that's locked. We need to
So
unlock
how do
that.
you adjust one of these things?
Don't let Nick touch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there, now you need to spin it out.
Out?
Yeah.
Are you sure? Yes.
No, you were right. You were right. You were right. You were right. I'm sorry. I'm an idiot. Yeah.
No, that's wrong too. Everything worked fine.
Oh, you know what? Did I not screw the base in all the way?
I don't think you did.
No,
This is why we can't have nice things.
that was right. It needs to come out. Yeah.
Okay, it's working.
Adjust the head there. Wrong thing.
Oh yeah, look at that. That in and out action.
So screw that back in.
What's gonna work? Teamwork.
This is the best about live because there's no covering up that we messed
Yeah.
up.
So
All right.
I'm gonna squeeze it. You guys can watch the back as
Yep.
we're squeezing it down.
So see how it sandwiches like that and grips?
That's all you need.
Yep.
And then you use this knurled part on the back to unscrew it.
Yeah.
And there you go.
And so to show you how it works, I've got a quarter 20 bolt here, and it literally screws right in, and you can lock down any type of what you want to bolt it to or whatnot. Really convenient for sheet metal stuff. You used it on your Roadster, I believe,
Yep.
for doing your.
I installed the trunk or the fuel tank in the trunk on this Comet behind us.
Yeah.
The factory, you had nuts and bolts in all the way through, and it took 2 people to remove it. Or you had to put speed nuts in it. Everybody knows that using those speed clips that slide over the holes, they bend, they fall out, they stretch, you hit them wrong, they, cross thread. These don't.
Nope.
And you can use a air or battery powered ratchet when you're screwing those down. I wouldn't necessarily throw an impact on it on sheet metal, but if you had like 1/8 inch or 1/4 inch steel, you put one of those in, you can absolutely hit them with an impact.
And the good thing too is if you do mess the threads up, it's just like a rivet. You can drill it out and put a new one in. So you're not having to worry about drilling it, retapping it, or helicoiling it.
And these work on plastic and fiberglass as well.
Everything, yeah. I used one recently on a Jeep radiator. It worked out fantastic.
Yeah,
because instead of, like you said, through bolting it. So yeah, that's our tool tip for today. Go online, check out. Like I said, I don't know if you necessarily need to get a high name brand one. These are off Amazon or something, right? Yeah, they're very inexpensive, but a great tool to have. Highly recommend it's in your toolbox in your shop. So next we're gonna be going on to Dan. He's gonna show you guys some stuff about drum brakes.
All right, so let's talk about drum brakes. We have this 1963 Mercury Comet in here. This is a great example because this had drum brakes all the way around from the factory. A lot of people are intimidated by drum brakes because they've never done them before. They're really not that bad. If you have a couple simple tools that I have up here on the fender, it'll make your life a lot easier, and you'll do these and you'll have a little more confidence in them. Another thing about drum brakes is a lot of people just dismiss them because they think that they're inefficient and they just go to disc brakes. Now that is true. Disc brakes are way more efficient, but drum brakes that are maintained and adjusted properly stop just fine. Their downfall is in situations like inclement weather. If you're running through flooded roads, it can actually cause the brakes to not apply correct pressure if the drums are filled with water.
But they need to be
ask me how I know.
Flooded, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just like raining and you drive through a puddle. It needs to be like a downpour, like going through a pond.
In the winter as well. In the winter, they may freeze going down a steep grade, like in the mountains. They may get a little too hot. So yes, disc brakes are better, but drum brakes are just fine if you know what you're doing. So we're going to drop down to the front of this and discuss the components and a couple tools and some things that you should look for when doing drum brakes. Now, first of all, we're going to discuss with the parts here. You've got your brake shoes, you've got your springs, and then you've got your hold down pins, and down on the bottom here is your adjuster wheel. Front and rear brakes are very similar. The only difference you'll see with rear brakes is obviously the addition of the parking brake cable. The parking brake cable does not require much maintenance, just standard adjustments. So this is a great example because these shoes are actually installed incorrectly. I did not install these shoes. They came like this. If you'll notice the pads on the shoes, this one has less pad across the face of it than this one has a much longer pad. The short shoe goes to the front, always.
Even on the rear?
Yep, the short shoe always goes to the front. So this car would stop and would brake, but not well. So to take these apart, what I like to do is take these springs off. This tool is from Snap-on. I've had this same tool for probably 20 years. They do sell them in other brands if you're not looking to spend that much money. But this tool removes and installs these springs. As far as removal, it's got a little hook right here. You simply set it over the cup and then you twist. There we go. And it pops right off. Same thing with this side. Put it on and twist and it pops right off. As far as install, same thing. You use this same arm. It's got a little flat lip on here to land on your anchor pin. You scoop it under there. Pull it against your anchor pin, and there you go. Not that hard to do.
And that's so much better than fighting with a screwdriver. Oh, man.
So we're going to pop these off real quick again. Doing double the work.
Yeah, we're getting our money's worth out of you today.
No, I already made everybody breakfast.
Wait, I didn't get breakfast.
When did we get ice cream?
I didn't get breakfast either.
What's going on?
Yeah, Nate got here early.
Yeah.
I was told to wait.
Yeah.
So, there's another important thing you're going to notice about these brakes. There's supposed to be pins in these wheel cylinders. Go right here, and they push against you. They're missing. But that makes it easier for us to talk about this next part. when you're inspecting your wheel cylinders, always pop these rubber boots back and look inside. And if you look inside here and it's nice and dry, then you're set, you're good. If it's wet, then your wheel cylinder's leaking and will need to be replaced. So we'll pop that back on. Now, as far as removing the anchor pins, we'll show you with this one right here. We've got this tool. If you look closely, there's some knurl in there, and you can flip it around for 2 different sizes. I have never used the smaller one. I don't know what it fits. But I like to put my finger on the back of the anchor pin, and you just push this down and then turn. And once you get it lined up, it falls off.
Again,
Ta-da!
way easier than doing that with needle nose pliers.
Absolutely. A lot of people are intimidated by removing and installing drum brakes, but honestly, if you take your time, do one wheel at a time. If you've never done them before, and now with cell phones, it makes it so much easier. Take a picture of it before you take it apart. They go in on a certain order. They come apart in a certain order. After you do one set, you're going to be like, oh, man, this was way too easy.
Do you have one technical question about that
Yes.
real quick?
Yeah.
I noticed you turned that clockwise, not counterclockwise.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
Does it matter? Okay.
No, not at all. If you look at the pin that holds it in there, see it's just got a straight slot.
Yep.
And then here, I'll pull this out so everybody can see it better. And if you look at that anchor pin, it goes in and then you just turn that and that's how it locks.
Okay.
So you can go any direction. It doesn't matter. Using the proper tools is really important. I used to try to pull these apart with vice grips and side cuts. I can tell you right now, I almost lost an eye one time doing that. They slipped and I actually hit myself here with the pliers and cut the inside of my eyelid with the pliers. That was a little terrifying. So don't do that. Spend the money on these tools. You can get them on eBay, on Amazon,
It's on Lowe's.
Yeah, Lowe's.
Craftsman has a brake kit tool. It comes with gauges, all kinds of stuff.
Oh,
It's
wow.
pretty inexpensive. Yeah.
So we're going to move on and talk about the star adjuster. We can actually stand up and talk about this. So we're too old. My knees are going to break. So this is your star adjuster. These are directional. And luckily, when you pull this cap off, they're labeled right and left.
Oh,
You'll have an R or an L stamped on the end of it. Pay attention to that. So the way they work is these 2 ends of the pins float in position. And as you turn the wheel, you see it starts getting longer. Then what that's doing is that's actually pushing your shoes out and adjusting your shoes. However, let's think about that. If it's only pushing your shoe out at the bottom, what's it really doing? It's giving you better contact down on this side. And this is where drum brakes have one shortfall. There's not an adjustment at the top, except your wheel cylinders. Your wheel cylinders are what push it out and adjust it at the top. So if your brake system is not properly bled and maintained, or if you have leaks, it's more obvious on drum brakes that they're not operating correctly. They'll start to dart around, or you'll have a brake pedal fade, or they'll just not work efficiently, or they'll prematurely wear on the surface. When you're looking at brake shoes, and if you're looking up the part number and they discuss bonded or riveted, it's pretty self-explanatory. This is a bonded shoe. There are no rivets holding this shoe on. It's glued on, essentially. If you see ones that have rivets, they're riveted on. There's not too many companies around anymore that resurface brake shoes, but there are some companies that still do it, especially on some of your more rare vehicles that they don't have these readily accessible. Luckily, this is a pretty common car, so we were able to get the parts, not a big deal. But people do reline brake shoes. As far as the other tools that we have down here, this spoon is for adjusting the brakes. There's a hole in the back of the backing plate, and this actually is what turns your wheel either direction. And you can see you've got 2 different angles on it. Again, this is another snap-on one I've had for years and years. I've never had to have it replaced. It's never broken, and I've used it as a pry bar and as a punch several times. But we'll go down here and we'll show you that hole in the backing plate. Nate's going to have to get low with me.
Get low. How low can you go?
So here's that hole in the backing plate. You can see the piece coming through, and your star adjuster would be in here like that, and you would adjust like that. And you see as I'm spinning the wheel that direction, it's actually coming in. If you go the other direction, it's coming out. Pretty easy to use. Now, last thing we're talking about, how do you know when your shoes are adjusted properly? Once you set your drum back on, you're going to spin the wheel and keep spinning the adjuster. And once you start hearing the brake shoes start to drag, you're going to stop, have somebody pump the brakes up a couple times. That'll recenter and reseat the shoes in the drum. And then you do it again. You want to make sure it's pretty even all the way around. Some people adjust it that way. Other people will adjust them up tight to where they are completely seated. And then they take a screwdriver and they will pry back on this piece, which is the lock. They will open the lock and back it off a little bit. These are supposed to be self-adjusting. I have never seen a pair of drum brakes actually self-adjust.
No,
Don't
never.
trust it. Manually adjust them. Now you may be asking about intervals as far as adjustment periods. There is not a dead set interval. Yes, there are some in the books, but it depends on your driving habits, the conditions you're driving in, the materials that you use. Is your drum new? Is it machined correctly? There's a lot. So what I like to say is every time you change your oil, check your brake adjustment. It's not a big deal. It takes 5 minutes.
Right.
You can do it by yourself. It's better if you have somebody. Don't run over your friend. Use wheel chocks. Use jack stands. That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
So, if you guys have any questions about drum brakes or the function, you can also go back into our YouTube channel and you can look. There's a whole section on brakes. There's this 3-part series we did about a year ago, and it discusses drum brakes, disc brakes, diagnosis, maintenance, as well as making your own brake lines, attaching the hoses, and bleeding the brakes with different tools. Again, it's a 3-part series. I believe it was called like Rat Rod and Hot Rod Brakes or something like that. You can go back and check it out. The tools that Nick showed you today, again, they're available just about anywhere online. A quick Google search will help you locate them. And if you guys have any questions about anything we talked about today, feel free to hit us up in the comments below. And what we're supposed to say, like and subscribe. Is that what YouTubers do?
Yeah.
Don't forget to like and
Yeah.
subscribe.
So one quick thing I do want to add.
Yes.
I've noticed with drum brakes is the adjustment is the most critical part of it.
Yes.
If they are not adjusted correctly,
Yep.
your stopping power is going to go away. Like you said, they're not going to be even. And some of the newer cars, so they have a hole actually on the drum itself. It usually has like a little rubber grommet that blocks it off, stop water and stuff from getting in. But those are actually a little easier. You can get them from the outside, so you're not having to free turn eat the fish. So if you don't see that hole in the back on your drums, they're probably on the front, and that's what that's for.
Now, is that mostly, Nick used to work for Nissan.
Yes.
Is that mostly on foreign cars that you've seen that?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And then I was a former technician at a Freightliner dealership. The semi trucks still run drum brakes. They do offer disc brakes, but they run air operated drum brakes. And they're hauling 80,000 pounds and they're doing just fine. So,
Okay.
drum brakes,
Don't fix it.
yeah, drum brakes aren't as bad as you'd think.
No. Like you said, as long as they're maintained properly and adjusted properly, and then I think it's a good idea every once in a while anyway. Like you said, maybe every oil change to pull that drum off and blow it out. They build up so much brake dust too.
Yeah.
Where that's the benefit of disc brake. It's open, it allows it to cool better and releases brake dust.
Yep.
But that brake dust also gets all over your nice, pretty wheels that you spend a lot of money on.
Absolutely.
So there's an up and down to it. Overall, proper adjustment is key.
Absolutely. And yeah, nobody commented on my avocado shirt. This is Papacado. He's got a mustache.
Yes.
Yeah, look, I completely got dressed this morning. I look like a homeless man that's been rummaging
Yeah,
through the
normally
trash.
we're both rocking like the boots and the shorts.
This is a house of style.
Yeah, we are.
If you're not out in your
Style
shop
for
wearing shorts that don't fit you right and boots and socks, you're
Yeah.
not doing anything.
So I think that's gonna pretty much wrap things up for today.
Absolutely.
Guys, we really like if you comment on what you would like us to do, things you'd like to see. We do have a couple of ideas as far as doing some sheet metal repair
Yep.
and doing some body working, stuff like that. Once I make some more forward progress on the Cobra.
I think we're gonna
We'll
do
be
some
using this.
wiring tips and tricks as well.
Ooh,
Yeah.
wiring. That's ooh.
And maybe
I
one
like
day,
the
maybe
wiring.
one day we'll play around with the bead roller and the sheet metal brake and some
Yeah.
things like that.
But please share ideas. You can go on Greasy Boys Facebook, Instagram, even on YouTube. Comment, just whatever
We got
you'd like to
we
see.
got the TikTok.
Or if
too.
you just want to see us standing up here talking for 30 minutes, we can do that
Yeah.
too.
And for the right price, we'll take our pants off.
Whoa. He will.
Yes,
That's
I will. And I'm going to steal the camera from our cameraman, and I'm going to turn around on our cameraman. Say hi, Nate.
Hello,
Tell everybody where you're racing again today.
I'm racing in Roxborough.
252 shootout. Is that
252 shootout daily driver.
you gonna be
class.
driving the black Mustang? What year?
It's a 2015 GT Mustang.
Fantastic.
rowdy.
Go see Nate, the fast plumber. He's the fastest plumber.
Or if you need a plumber, go see him.
Yeah, or if you need a plumber, go see him as well.
Yeah, that'll be a VDH plumbing in the Raleigh area. I will not travel too far.
Yep. He will fix your toilet and give you race car advice.
Yes.
And win. He
I-
might steal your wife if you're not careful.
Whoa, no.
Oh, wait, never mind. He's married. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
No.
happily married.
Happily married, yes.
With,
No.
with a little one on the way. That's an awful.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. You're a daddy race car driver
I'm
now.
a daddy race car
Yeah.
driver now,
Heck yeah. You're going to be racing a Yugo next year.
No,
Go.
I'm looking into to crash tested, baby seats to put in the car.
Is that what we're going to be
They
doing
make
next?
those, Sparko and Ricardo ones.
Yeah.
Those rowdy
Do
ones.
they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Does that
yeah,
mean we
dude.
can take the baby racing?
Exactly.
Yes.
That's completely safe, right?
Yeah.
Why
yeah.
not?
That's what I hear.
Ricky Bobby did it.
You got to start them early.
Yeah. If you ain't first, you're last.
That's right.
All right. Thank you, guys. Have a good Saturday.
Oh, it is Saturday, isn't it?
It is. I don't know how to shut this off. How do you go?
Ow!
How do you go on live? Are you sure you want?